Welcome back to Factorio Hyperbase, where Hyperbase is basically a massive base. We're not in a Hyperbase at the moment. We're in a baby little starter base that we obviously need before we can actually progress to the Hyperbase. Now, last episode we were working on our production science build, and the thing is, with all these sorts of things, you need to check your assumptions after building it to ensure that practical performance is proceeding as well as you'd hoped. And if I watch this machine, you can see it actually spends quite a bit of time silent. I think all the rest of the machines are constantly going. You can see when they're going. So that one is low. Well, actually there was a moment there when it wasn't going, so we're kind of running at 4 point something of these machines, and we need all 5 of them to be running to get the full purple science output. And as a consequence, we have a bunch of science labs that are not functioning, which seems like a bit of a waste. So we need to boost this, and what I think I'm going to do to do that is actually start creating some steel furnaces, which means that we're actually going to make the production even worse for a bit. Or am I just going to do these by hand? I can make 14. How many do I actually need? I need 12. I need 24. So what would I be missing if I made these? Probably stone bricks. Yes, stone bricks. Let's get some more stone bricks. We'll probably need a bit more steel as well. And we'll replace our existing stone furnaces with nice these guys. That was 14, that's 23. I need one more. What do I need? 7 more stone brick. There we go. So that should be enough of those, and if we're going to do that, we're also going to need red belt. How much of that do I have on hand? Not enough. Let's top up. I might just get rid of a little bit of the yellow at this time. And grab a bit more of the red. That should be enough of those. Maybe one more. Maybe grab that as well. Where's our car? There it is. And let's head up to the stone brick smelting and sort this out, because we certainly have the supply for stone now. Might seem like a decent base, but really it's just a little baby base. Here is our stone smelting. Actually, I could have gone all the way up here. So this tiny little patch of stone isn't going to last very much longer. Whoops, I need that one. But of course we have the stone provided by this train. So if we start off here, turn that into red belt and this provision into red belt. And then obviously we need to swap this one out. Hopefully it retains. It does its priority, so we can still kill off this field as we want to. The little initial starter base fields. Let's make that red. This one can stay yellow. We hardly use it. It's only really used for track at this point, I believe. And now you can be red. You can probably stay as yellow. Changing these to steel furnaces will actually also give us twice the efficiency that we had before. We don't even need that one at the bottom. In fact, it's not helping us, so let's get rid of it. There, that gets rid of that. Now, stone furnaces. Actually, we should just be able to run down like so to replace them. No need to pick any up. Yes, that's it. No need to pick any up, and we can probably recycle these into the power system because it won't be too long before we need more power, although we're running just fine as it is. So not a problem there. Now, if we come to the bottom here, we have a nicely compressed belt of stone brick coming out, which will take quite a long time to get to the bottom of the base, but that should easily be enough now for our purple science build. Just taking a sip of my coffee. So, next on the agenda is looking at yellow science, or at least some of the bits required for yellow science. Yellow science, we need batteries and we need processing units, speed modules, copper cable. Let's start with the batteries and the processing units. We know that both of these that uses sulphuric acid, and that one uses sulphuric acid as well. So we need to bring online our sulphuric acid processing. That should be relatively easy. Since I've got the car here, I might just... actually no, the car's pretty slow. It's not nearly as fast as a train, and we do actually have a pack stop in terms of like a service stop for ourselves built up over there. So let's head down and jump on our train, and in the process let's just make sure that we have enough of the resources that we're going to need. I might top up on signals, or at least I don't actually think I need a whole lot more, but topping up doesn't hurt, and maybe we'll top up this one as well. Topping up signals. We are probably going to want some tanks. 4 tanks. Pumps. Should be able to make 4 pumps. Good. Anything else? Maybe a little bit more rail just to be on the safe side. Oh, do we have any stone to drop off? Not really. I can see why we're not really burning through stone down here. Alright, let's run with that and head off to oil so that we can set up sulphuric acid. We have more of those if we feel we need it. Off we go. Oil. While we're travelling, we can have a quick look. Let's have a look at this. It looks like the fully compressed is just reaching now. If we look at the performance here, you should see that it's completely filled and almost ready for another one before it has finished, and there you go. So this is now running at optimum capacity as required, and there is a little bit of stone left over, but obviously we're using quite a bit of it, so that's all to the good. And yeah, the length here, it's not expected that these are able to run constantly, but just a little bit more is all that's necessary. You'd have to go to blue belt to enable them to run constantly. Well, here we are, oil. So what I want to do basically is choose another tech. We only have one choice, which is why we have to get a move on here. We're going to build something similar to this setup. Basically, we are now going to power on our sulfuric build. For now, I might just use a little bit of water fill to kind of cheese it, if you like. I think I actually need to be over slightly. That's where I want to be. Yeah. So basically the water will be the slightly further one out. That can save us a little bit of pipe if we do that. Can't do it everywhere though. Can I get through? Still good. And connect up the rest. Can't remember if I actually calculated this out in any sort of reasonable way to ensure that we had enough throughput, but I guess we'll see soon enough, and if not, we can bump it up. But in truth, you don't actually need all that much production in sulfur and sulfuric acid in comparison to the other items. There we go. And that's why we needed the extra pole. So I thought I was being so smart, but obviously not. All those poles I was saving I need anyway. You need iron plate. Yes, iron plate. Okay. I was going to make this a sulfuric acid train, but would I be better off just building a sulfur train? No, I doubt it. We're probably better off having a sulfuric acid train. So I guess what we need then is a basic smelting stack here. How much do you actually use? You use 1 iron every second, so that's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it second? Yeah. So we need like 4 iron plates a second. I don't want to be bringing coal in. I am bringing coal in up here. I could just draw off more coal and have a little iron smelter happening just here. Well, for starters, let's hook this up as though everything is fine. Iron plate. Do you know, the other thing that we could do is we could just supply the iron plate. So the sulphuric acid train could actually have a wagon carrying iron that comes up and delivers iron up here. That would actually work quite nicely as well. I've done that in the past. Yes, I think the idea was that I was just going to extend this path up. Somewhere like there. I thought I had more of those, but never mind, we can build them, they're not that expensive. So pumps, there they are. And tanks. Maybe it would be worth it to actually do something like that. Maybe not. Might be a bit more efficient. Probably not. So that is how we get. Yeah. I probably don't even need 4 of these. What are they? Iron chests. So come to about here, split. This is going to cause me issues. So we get rid of it then. Iron in both directions. Power over to here. and this will be the sulfuric acid load. Which incidentally happens to be an iron plate unload. And we'll just do the reverse back at base. We've got that much time to get yellow up and running, so we better get a move on. Okay, back to main base. Oh, hang on, stop. Let's fix our signal issue before it becomes a serious issue. This now needs to be a chain, and we need... So that was a fairly trivial amount of extra signaling to make that work, but we needed to do it nonetheless. Now you can resume. And time for another coffee. So, I mean, I guess it's not a bad base for early game, but that's how much space it takes up. Remember, my old base took up the entire screen, so I guess there's a bit of a size disparity. We'll be getting onto plans for the Hyperbase, how it's going to work, how it's going to be able to outperform the last base fairly soon. We just need to finish off this base, get through all the... well, we don't need to finish all the research, we can start building it before then, but that's kind of how we're going, I guess. Okay, let's get down here. We can probably go more or less side by side to this guy. And the next available spot, which would be here. Which actually is kind of low, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Let's just remove those so that we can place that. Actually, we wanted to place that, didn't we? Alright, let's get rid of that again. And this time we'll just place this guy, which I'm pretty sure I have sitting around here somewhere. And that brings it slightly closer to that one as well. This is going to cause me problems, so let's fix that right now. And I guess if we head in about the same length, we clearly have room for the extra car. The only thing is, would I want to make this more than one locomotive? I don't think so. I think one locomotive will be fine. I can make these manually. It's nice when you make a lot of them just to have them sitting in your inventory, but we're not making a lot today. We need some engines. Fortunately, there's quite a few of those just over here. Is that enough? Those are construction robots. 5 engines. Yes, that's enough because I want 4 of these. And what else do we need? We need to be able to make some iron chests. Well, we could make steel ones, I suppose, but I actually only need 4. Oh, I've got them down here anyway. Why don't I make a quick blueprint of that. Get rid of it. We can only make one tank because we don't have enough iron on us. And there's a whole bunch of trees and rocks and all sorts of garbage in our way. Okay, let's grab some iron. Are all those running now? No. It's a 30-second research, so we're not getting any benefit on the speed up in time because we have enough labs to cope with this on a 60-second basis. So it doesn't really matter. But at least this is running at full capacity. Iron. Well. And that's the end of the tech that we can do, I believe. They all now require yellow. Yes. Never mind. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we only needed 3. One more. That one is going to be how we fill the locomotives. These are heading in the wrong direction. I probably should have put stack inserters there. But it doesn't really matter. Even though there are a couple of products that are going to use this, it's not going to get used at such a rate that we need to be concerned. Just wanted to clear that. We need another pump. If we can make a light, we might as well. Okay. If we have to move this, we can, but for now this should be fine. Where are we? Fairly close. Let's just run the belts down a bit. Get to this guy where he needs to go. So slow, even at 60-60. Let's use the belt, that will help a little bit. That's powered up, but these bits are not. Oh, we're going to need some more belt very shortly as well. Okay, if you, instead of doing it that, came into a splitter that then went like so. Came here and did that. That should help clear the coal that is in our way of expanding the make everything factory, as you can see. So we can now clear out all of that. And all of that. So, we need 2 locomotives and a 2... Let's get our locomotives first. One of these. Whoops. Looks like you have to pick up 2. And 2 of these. Create this locomotive. How are these going? They're fine. These wagons. And this one. Now, is this actually going to work? No, it's not. That is a bummer. Let me just pause there for a moment. And we can resume. I really would have been better off putting this in the middle, then I wouldn't have an issue, but the way this is going to happen at the moment is this is going to turn up at the front. Really putting it in the middle is the best option, but I'm going to make this work. I'm just going to rearrange the order at the oil factory. It's only temporary. This will only exist as long as this base exists, which is not indefinite. Now that's interesting, isn't it? Because this actually needs to provide down there as well. Not that it's that much of an issue because I have spare coal on me anyway. No, there's no room. So yeah, let's just, do I have enough? I don't really have much of anything. Let's get some, I might need some more belt to do this exercise, so let's grab some more belt. Back to oil. So yeah, I was thinking at the time that I really should have put it in the middle. If you have an odd number of wagons, it's best that they're in the middle with a double header. Of course, it doesn't matter if you have a single header and the train only goes in one direction, but with a double header, if it's changing direction, and the other thing, of course, is it needs to only go to one stop. Well, it goes between 2 stops, so it's always heading in exactly the same direction as it arrives at each stop now. But if it's in the middle, then it's not going to matter because you'll accommodate it. Never mind. Lube train is trying to fill up. have any lamps around here, do I? It's kind of dark. Is that it? Yes. Now this one we basically need to move this setup so that it's up here and extend the train. Let's just make another one of those. Oh, we're having to craft things that we probably shouldn't have to. It doesn't actually matter if I have to rip everything out. Let's try that. And yeah, we're out by 1. If we move it up 1, I think we're still out by 1. Yeah. Let's put it there. Rip this stuff all out. Do it again. So this time we are expecting the iron to be at the front. We will then be pumping into the train the sulphuric acid from here. Obviously this is not how this is going to work. It will instead go something like this. It's fine for the iron. And that's fine for the station. We don't need this top part. This is our, not the stoned one, but our sulphuric acid load station. This one here is our sulphuric acid unload. The iron is full, so the rules here should be well, let's get sulphuric acid load. Fluid count. Wait until greater than. So wait until sulphuric acid is greater than or equal to 50,000. Which means basically full. That should be fine, and then head to sulfuric unload, and here we'll also do a fluid count. Fluid, how about we just go equals 0. So we're basing it on the fluid, and we're hoping that the iron will fill up sufficiently. We'll have to observe to see if this works. I suspect it should. What's our... Ooh. So when plastic is in demand... Well, we actually have a pretty decent flow of petroleum just at the moment. I haven't hooked this up yet. It's part of our... or finished this, so let's do that. We can still come out of this one. Flow into there, that should be sufficient. Couple of lamps. So we can see what's happening. Where's that train? Here it comes. So nothing is going in there yet. We're going to have to wait for the whole thing to fill up. How are we going here? We really do need the stack inserters there, if that's going to work halfway decently. To unload. How is the filling up going? We have a long way to go. So that is 4,000 iron. Let's just check the formula. 4,000 iron is going to make 20,000 sulfur. 20,000... Oh, hang on. 4,000 iron is going to make 200,000 sulfuric acid. So yes, that's fine. We easily have enough iron being supplied. We don't need the iron to completely empty. That's starting to come through at a decent rate. This first time, it wouldn't surprise me if we did get all of that iron. Certainly if we get 2,000, we've got enough for this whole train. And all these tanks, well, half these tanks, enough tanks to fill this again. If we get 3,000, we've got enough for this to be completely full. If we get all 4,000, there's a nice buffer of iron. And it's all ending up in this one for some reason. Maybe we should pump it up to these. I don't have any more engines on me. I guess it makes sense that it's easier to flow in there than to flow up here. 20k, theoretically almost half full. I think we can leave that now. That build would appear to work just fine. Head back to base and work on the next part, which will be the batteries and the processing units. They're probably going to have to go into the next episode though, unfortunately. So thanks for joining me for this, and I look forward to seeing you in the next. Bye bye for now.